Unit 4 is graphing trig functions. So we're going to take what we've previously learned about the unit circle, which is really just finding side lengths of right triangles in different quadrants. And we're going to take those and turn them into an x and y value so that we can put it on a coordinate plane. So these are the parent functions of sine of x and cosine of x. Parent meaning the most simplest or basic function. And then to that, we're going to add transformations throughout this unit. But for y equals sine of x, let's make a table. My x values, I'm going to pick those quadrantal angles around my unit circle. So this is 0 radians. Then let's jump to pi over 2, which is half a pi or half a semicircle. Pi, which is 180 degrees. 3.5 pi, or 3 halves pi, sorry, which is 1.5 pi down here, and then all the way around to 2 pi. Those are the simplest. And so we're doing sine, which is going to be the y values at those measures. So when we have 0 radians, what is the y value at that point? It's 0. So that has created an ordered pair that we can graph. X is 0, y is 0. When we have pi over 2, we're up here at a 90 degree, the y value is 1. So at pi over 2, we're going to go up 1. Then when we come around to pi, that's our 180 degrees. Y comes back down to 0. So we have a point at pi 0, and then 3 halves pi is down here at 270. Now we've gone to -1. And then 2 pi, we come around and back to a y value of 0. And it would keep going. 5 halves is 2.5. So then if I was back to here, it would come back to 1. 3 pi would be 2 pi plus another pi. That would come back to 0. Same thing if I went negative half a pi. Now I'm rotating to here. My y value was -1. And so it keeps continuing this pattern, and you get this curve. They use this a lot for sound waves. So what happens is you'll see that we never go above 1 and we never go below -1. That's because our unit circle is a radius of 1, so we never go higher than 1 or lower than -1. The other thing I want you to know about sine, if we take just one cycle of it, so when we started it here and stopped here, it makes this pattern where it's middle, high, middle, low, middle. We'll talk about this a lot, but see how it's on the middle of its cycle, or its height, I'll say, middle, and then it goes up to its highest point, comes back to the middle of it, down to its lowest, and back to middle. That's going to be important for later. Okay, now let's do the same thing with cosine, making a table. When we're at 0 degrees or 0 radians, our x value this time is 1. Since we're doing cosine, we want to look at x values. And then when I go up to 90, x is 0. Over to pi, now x is -1. 3 pi over 2, now x is back to 0. And at 2 pi, we're back to 1. So one cycle would look like starting here at its high point, coming to 0, which is its midline, pi -1, 3 pi back over 2 back to 0, and 2 pi up to 1. So it would do this. But it would keep going, because now I would come back to, this is 0, because that's actually here at pi over 2 again, back to low, and just keep going and going and going. But again, looking at one cycle, just a normal one, we actually started at its high point, come to its midline, lowest point, back to midline, up to its highest point. And we'll see that over and over again. I just want to introduce you to it.